Rejuvenate Podcast is back. This podcast is all about empowering young voices from across Ireland. So for the next 4 episodes, we're giving the reins to a group of amazing young people from Cork. Today's episode is being hosted by Andrew, who's speaking with our guest Sophie. Today they're going to talk about issues that matter to young people, and Sophie will share some of her work with Serve in Solidarity. Hope you enjoy.
Welcome back to the Rejuvenated Podcast. I'm here with my guest, Sophie. And yeah, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi. So my name is Sophie, like you said. I'm 26 years old, and I suppose if you want to get into the background a bit, I was actually born in Germany. My parents met there. I was born there. I lived there until I was 5, and then me, my mom, my brother moved back to Ireland because my mom's originally from Ireland, and I've lived here in Cork ever since. So yeah, that's me really in a nutshell.
But what led you into doing Scala and all this, working with the Serve?
It's kind of a bit of a long-winded story. But yeah, like I said, I went to college. I did a CIT. I did a basic science degree, and then I did a master's in University of Limerick. I did public health. And then as part of my master's, I had to do work experience. And for that work experience, I worked with a different non-profit. And I was working for them, and I was doing research, being a research assistant, and it was good. But I didn't really get to see like the day-to-day of a non-profit. It was more just the research project that I was working on. But I really got interested in the whole area of non-profit work and overseas development and that whole like aspect and side of things. So that's why I kind of got interested in that particular area, and I started looking. And Serve, who also in this complex in Mahon has an office down here, they were looking at the same time that I was looking, and it kind of just worked out for me to start working full time with them. So I worked with them for a year. And through that, that's how I got in contact with or met Mehel. So I know last year Megan and Pa were looking for help for Mehel in terms of leaders and stuff. And they asked me if I would be interested, and I said yes. And I'm actually really glad that I did do it. I got to meet like the group. Obviously, you were part of that group that I was leading, which was really, really good. I think we got quite close within the week. We got along very well, and we learnt a lot and everything, not just you guys but me as well. And yeah, I think I'm really glad that I did it. It's been good, especially like since then over the year I've kind of like come back and helped with a couple of things, and with Megan and your youth group and everything. So yeah, that's kind of the short end of the story, I guess. Yeah. So
at our age, did you expect to end up doing Serve, Scala, all this?
No, definitely not. 16, 17, I was still in secondary school. I didn't know what I wanted to do, even for college and everything. I just kind of went with what subjects I was best at, and I kind of did like a process of elimination. So I knew I hated maths. I just never been someone who's good with numbers. It wasn't me. So anything mathematics related or finance related was just out for me. I didn't like business or economics or any of that side of things either. But I was good at science, and I had really good teachers in school. So I went with that. I did like a kind of common entry course. So you basically go in, you do like a load of science subjects, and then after 2 years you pick a particular subject to focus on for your like degree. And that worked for me because I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I still don't to a certain degree, because like even with like I did my master's in public health, but public health is hugely broad. Like you could do so much. Like you could do Scala, you could work in a lab, you could, like there's everything. So I think I kind of just, again, it's process of elimination and just trying loads of different things. So yeah, no, I definitely didn't know it at that age though.
Yeah, I definitely think a lot of teenagers at that age, they don't really know what their future is going to be.
It's hard to know. Like I said, I'm 26 and I'm trying to figure it out, you know. It's just trial and error, and a lot of the time it's just kind of figuring out, well, what I've found anyway, is just figuring out what you don't like or don't want to do, if that makes sense, because then it kind of, okay, I've tried this, but I don't like it, so I'm going to try something else, you know, and it kind of just goes like that, yeah.
You just go with the flow.
Exactly.
But let's say now you went back to see yourself 16, 17.
Yeah.
What advice would you necessarily give to yourself for your future coming?
That's probably a big question. 16, 17, I probably just tell myself to not care so much about what other people think. I think probably most teenagers go through that at least a little bit. I don't know, peer pressure and social pressure and all that kind of stuff. I think I was very worried all the time about, you know, trying to be cool and trying to do what everyone else is doing instead of like what I actually wanted or didn't want or whatever. So I think, yeah, that's probably the biggest thing, to just not worry about what other people think. People are worried enough about themselves. They don't really care about you. Not that they don't care, but like they're worried by themselves that they don't think about that kind of thing. And the things that I would worry about, like what you're wearing or how you look or whatever it is, do you know, like I would never go to someone and not be friends with them because of that. So you're worrying about it for no reason. That's probably what I would say to my younger self. Yeah.
Yeah, most teenagers are influenced by their friends anyway, the way they dress.
Exactly, yeah. You're trying to figure things out, like as you know, grow older, like what kind of person you want to be and all this kind of stuff. So I think just kind of, yeah, not worrying about what other people are doing so much would be the advice I'd give. Yeah.
Yeah. But in this community, Mahon, Cork, whatever, what would you think the biggest issue of Cork would be?
Of Cork specifically, Ireland specifically, I mean, I think especially for me and my generation, and probably your generation and younger as well, that housing crisis is probably really, really big. I think poverty in general, because it's all kind of linking in with each other. Just because, like, I know now that like people my age and older are still living with their parents because it's just too expensive to move out and stuff. And like, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to actually buy a house or, you know, all that kind of stuff. And obviously, I think Ireland is considered a fairly wealthy country. But I think it's just, there's a lot less people who are in the rich bracket that we say, or the okay bracket, and a lot more people kind of falling into that line in between or going down into the poor area. So that's probably something that's quite obvious to me right now, being a big issue. Yeah,
that's talked about a lot, really. Like but most of Ireland's population do live with their parents because of the housing crisis, and it's terrible to see. Like, some people are out living on the streets because they've nowhere to go, and it's just sad to see.
It is. It's really sad. And I think it's also like I'd be okay because like I can live with my mom, and like I get along with my mom and my brother, and it's all okay. But there's a lot of people who just don't have a choice. Like, you have to move out, or you have to, you know, fend for yourself and stuff. And then once you get to a certain age, like I don't want to be 35 and still living with my mom. Like, there has to be a point where you move on. So yeah, I don't know. It is definitely something you think about a lot, I think. Yeah.
Do you think that now would be the biggest issue that needs attention, or is there something else
in Ireland?
Yeah.
I don't know about the biggest. I mean, unfortunately, there's a lot of issues going on in the world at the moment, but I think it definitely is a big one. I think it definitely kind of feeds into a lot of other issues. Like, it's connected to a lot of things. Obviously, I said poverty and food insecurity and all of that kind of thing as well. Yeah, I think it is a big one. It's connected to a lot of things. So in Ireland, it's definitely a big one, all right. But I don't know about biggest, because I don't want to compete issues against issues, if that makes sense.
Could you tell us about your experience of traveling around the world, experiencing all sorts of things?
Okay. So I think I've actually been quite lucky in my life in that I've traveled quite a bit. Even when I was younger, like with my mom, I would have been quite lucky to travel a good bit. And I was just traveling for a month. So I was going around Europe, different countries in Europe, which was amazing. I did interrailing, which was really great. And yeah, I've been to Asia twice. I've been to America, I've been to Canada. Like I have been to a lot of different places, and I'm actually really, really grateful for that. I think something for me personally, I don't like the thought of staying in one place all my life. Not just living in one place, that's fair enough, but I don't like the thought of only experiencing one culture or one way of life. I like going out and seeing new things, doing new things, meeting new people. I think it's really important, and I think personally it's helped me grow a lot. Just maturity and, you know, broaden your horizons and all that. So I think it's really, really great, and I would recommend any and all travel you can do, just do it. And then like I also, with Serve that I was working with, I was able to go to the Philippines in January. So Serve do overseas development, and they have a volunteer program. So there's people going over in the summer, like a group of volunteers. And we went over, me and my boss Nicola. She went, or the two of us went, and we were kind of like preparing for the summer program so that everything was up and running. And yeah, no, it was really good. I think it's kind of different when you go yourself on like a holiday. Like obviously you can meet people and experience the culture to a certain extent, but that was very different because Serve works with, you know, one specific community, and you're welcomed into the middle of that community, and you really get to experience their way of life and how massively different it is to yours. Yeah, I think that's just like something that not many people experience, and something that's quite special. And I'm very grateful to have gone over and to experience that, and to have been welcomed in and done that as well. So any kind of, I mean, I know that not everyone can do it because, you know, it doesn't always happen. And life doesn't always make it work. But I think if you could, any travel you can do, but any like volunteering or anything like that as well, I think that's incredibly beneficial. I don't see why that would ever be like a waste or anything, you know. So
yeah, it's great to experience those. But can I ask, out of all the places you've went to, what has been your favorite place you've traveled to?
I have a kind of feeling you to ask me that. I really don't know it. Like, it's so hard to compare different places because everything has something that's like good about it, or something that I really liked about it. And like, it's hard because like there's places in like Europe, and then there's places like Asia, which will be so culturally different, you know, like it's hard to kind of compare them. Everything has their good points. I mean, Thailand is absolutely beautiful. It's just one of those places that you turn everywhere and it's just beautiful. But then there's also places in Europe like Italy or Czech Republic or like Slovakia and Slovenia. Like it's just really hard to kind of compare them all. I think there's probably aspects that I like. So maybe like my favorite food or my favorite, you know, stuff like that of different places, but I don't think I could just pick one.
Yeah, they all have very different things going on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see the different dynamics in how they live and how they eat.
Exactly.
All that.
Yeah, exactly.
But from you working with the youth groups, Mehel, what have you learned from the young people of today?
It's definitely interesting to see them do Mehel, because I think I was telling you before that I went to Christ King and they had Mehel when I was there, but I was too scared to do the interview. I didn't want to do it. I was too like shy, and I was very much like, if my friend group wasn't doing it, I wouldn't do it, you know, that kind of way. So it is really interesting now as a grown up to come back and see people doing it, because it's kind of like, oh, I actually would have really liked it. I should have done it. Yeah. So that's kind of really interesting. And it's nice to see like obviously I was with your group during that Mehel program, and it's nice to see that like you guys have made like other friends, and you've really kind of become like a part of the group, you know, a part of the youth group, but also a part of the metal group, and you're really kind of using it. It's just nice to see how much you've kind of progressed through it all. And yeah, if I could go back, I definitely would do it myself. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a great opportunity for teenagers to do, because you get to meet new people,
Yeah, exactly.
have fun. It was a great week to do.
Yeah.
And great fun. Kind of tough question now. Where would you see yourself in 10 years?
Oh, that is a tough question. I don't even know where I see myself in 2 years or next month, to be honest. If we're going 10 years down the line, it means I'm going to be 36, which is scary. I think I would like to be in a secure place in terms of my career. So like I said before, public health is quite broad, and I want to, like, at the minute I'm okay with like kind of trying different things to figure out what I want. But I mean, by 36, I would like to kind of be in a place that I'm happy in, you know, yeah. And then, I mean, outside of that, I suppose I feel like I should say that, I mean, I would want to be married at some point, I suppose. And yeah, as much as the world that I can see, the better. That's my goal. As much of the world that I can see, the better. So yeah, that's kind of where I see myself, just traveled and traveling as much as possible. I hope that never goes away. And then yeah, more secure in my career then as well. They're probably the main things. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very hard to tell what you would be in 10 years, because you never know what's going to happen. Like,
exactly, and my opinion could change tomorrow. Like, I could wake up next week and hate traveling. Now, I hope that doesn't happen, but yeah, it could change. You just never know.
yeah, it's very interesting to think about. Yeah. But how would you describe yourself in under 10 words?
Oh God,
if you can describe yourself in 10 words.
I don't know. Okay, let me think. In terms of work, I'd say determined, ambitious, hardworking. I don't know if there's a word, efficient, no. But as self-sufficient, I don't know if that's the right word, but like, I don't need to constantly be told, oh, do this. Like, I can just kind of be like, oh yeah, I know this needs to be done, so I'm going to do it. I'm being quite positive about myself. 10 words. I like to say I'm a bit adventurous. I do things a bit, or spontaneous might be the right word. Like, I've gotten tattoos randomly and stuff, you know. So, yeah, a bit of that, definitely. Emotional. I definitely wear my heart on my sleeve. If I'm angry or sad, you'll know it. What, I don't know what we're on. Let's say 7, I think 6 or 7. Active or like, yeah, that kind of comes into adventurous. I like being outside, so hiking, walking, swimming, all those kind of things. I'd like to say I'm a good friend. You know, I like listen and all that kind of stuff. And let me think one more. I'd like to think that I have a good sense of humour. I can take a joke about myself. So I think that's quite positive as well.
I'd like to personally thank Sophie for being here today and taking time to come out here and be on the Rejuvenated podcast.
You're welcome.
I'm very thankful for that.
Thank you for having me.
And yeah, that's the end of this episode.